On today's episode of Work It Out with Lauri, we're going to be talking about the various types of bullying, focusing on downward bullying.
Tune in for the 18th episode of Work It Out with Lauri.
Howdy, WBP crew. Welcome to Work It Out with Lauri, the no-nonsense show for anyone navigating workplace bullying, chaos, or straight-up dysfunction. I'm Lauri Lillie, your host. I'm here to help you make sense of all the drama you're experiencing at work.
And I'm Cosmo Esplin, Sir Showrunner and your backstage guide, directly providing Lauri with your questions and workplace dilemmas so you get the practical solutions you need. So what do you say? Let's work it out. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to a brand new Work It Out with Lauri this Monday. Thanks for being in the studio to share your expertise, Lauri.
Thanks, Cosmo. Bring it. What do we have today?
This one is going to be sort of almost a sequel to what we did last week. Last week we talked about upward bullying through the eyes of a scenario submitted by one of our listeners. Today we're kind of following up on that, so I'll give you the question here if you're ready.
Go for it. I'm ready.
This person's name is Ron, and his question scenario is as follows, quote, "My workplace bully was my boss. Roughly 20 years earlier, I was her boss at a different location, and she always proudly said that she is who and where she is because of me. After following multiple sites, I have come to realize that she saw me as a threat with my experience/knowledge that far surpassed her abilities. With her new title, she found that threatening and recruited flying monkeys and mobbers against me. I've been on a website that promotes upward bullying. This is not my situation. I found it downward bullying. Are most scenarios of bullying, mobbing, flying monkeys similar to those of equal status or of higher levels in the organization? I hope my explanation is clear. Thank you." So this is kind of more about defining what different types of bullying, right, Lauri? That's what jumps off to me.
That's right. And immediately what comes to mind, and thanks, Ron, for submitting this question. Great question. We always reference The Office. Threat level midnight.
Yep.
I
wonder how many we've referenced already. You should count it up.
We may have to do a series just watching The Office and counting and highlighting all of the insane bullying that went on that show. It was really crazy. But I'll just say, we're joking here, but this isn't a joke. Ron, so your leader, your imposter leader and bully 100% saw you as a threat. And this is by far the most common type of bullying, and it's the one that most people think of. And I have an interesting vignette to share with you.
I love vignettes. What you got?
I've got a good vignette. So I had an initial consult with someone maybe about a year ago, and this person worked in the medical world, okay? In this particular situation, this individual was being bullied by the people below her. If you're familiar with the medical world, in particular doctors, as they move up the chain, they start as interns, they go to residents, and then they're attendings. This person was an attending doctor. This person's residents were bullying, okay? This person took a complaint to HR, and you are not going to believe this. They responded and said, "It is impossible that you are being bullied by your residents because bullying requires a power dynamic. And
wow.
The person in the position of power is the one who does the bullying, so you must be the bully." I'm not kidding you. This is legitimately...
It's pretty extreme. I would imagine you're going to use the G word here, gaslighting.
It's gaslighting, and it's incredible ignorance. Naivete. We're in an alternate reality at this point. Hello, we're waving to them. They're not in our reality. Can you imagine living in a world that one doesn't understand, that psychological abuse, anybody can psychologically abuse another, whether that's upward, sideways, or downward? To say that we've got work to do is putting it lightly. All of that to say, let's go back to the question. What's the most common type of bullying is the question, right? By far downward. Okay, downward bullying. And I have a statistic here to show. The Workplace Bullying Institute, they conduct a survey every 2 years and they put out results. On their flyer that they have made public, here's 2 interesting pieces of statistics. The majority of bullying is top down. So in other words, it's typically leaders bullying the people who report to them. And that's 55%. That's right.
So over the majority.
Over the majority. 29% is from peers. You can see how that would be intuitive because peers may be competing for promotions, a new job role, something that's out there, and they want to make sure that they're shining. And oh gosh, it's so exhausting, isn't it, everyone? Everyone is threatened by everyone these days. It just never ends. But you can see how that would be intuitive, 29% peer-to-peer. So while we have about 84% of the statistic covered,
what's the missing 16%?
We don't have that, but suffice it to say, upward bullying does absolutely exist.
Well, it says right here, too, that managers are 38% of those bullied. So even those in positions of authority can get this sort of dynamic.
Absolutely they can. And that could be upward or downward, right? But typically speaking, the downward bullying is the most obvious because why? Threat level midnight. There's something about you as you report into a leader that threatens them. It's your skill. It's your competency. It can be your character. It could be your personality. It could be any number of things. And that's why I say we can never know exactly what it is. Only the bully deep down in a part of their soul that they won't even be able to access might know the answer. We can probably have a good idea of what it is, but deep down, it's some sort of a threat. Boy, imposter leaders, they're the ones who are the dangers to the organization. If you get into a leadership role and you do not feel confident in your skills and your competencies, your character and your communication skills, and your ability to do that job and to help those who report to you grow, right? Thrive, find new opportunities. If you can't do that as a leader, get the heck out of the way and let the people who know how to do that and are comfortable in their skin actually lead.
Well, because otherwise, if you're in a role of authority and a position of authority and you're not confident in the tools that you've been given and your own abilities to make change, then at some point, if you're feeling threatened, you're going to tap into your tribal instincts.
There
right?
you go. Yeah,
it's true. Because in a lot of these dynamics, what's actually at play here is humanity's instinctual tribal inclinations.
You're nailing it, Cosmo.
And you don't want to see those come out to play.
No, and what happens when those come out to play?
No diggity.
It's no diggity, and you're going to get bullied. Everyone has been threatened at some point in their life. Anyone who says they've never been threatened by someone isn't telling the truth.
It's just a matter of how you respond to that.
Yeah. Respond.
Yes.
Respond and not react, right? Mm-hmm. Having that emotional awareness and being able to say, okay, I'm feeling threatened, but guess what? Imposter leaders and bullies, they don't have that. They don't look inward. They just know their body is telling them you are a threat, and they are going to, as a result, pull out all their tools, and they're going to do everything to suppress you and to manage this threat. And that means pushing you down, 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 protecting their territory, and they're going to do that through, name the tactics, right? Exclusion, belittling, isolation.
Let's start a game show called Name the Tactics.
Yeah, name the tactic. It's never ending. So, Ron, to answer your question, your leader, the one who previously had said, oh gosh, I'm where I am today because of you, Ron. So thankful for you.
That has fawning all over it.
Fawning all over it. But guess what? That was only okay so far as you were outside of arm's length. That's where she was comfortable with you. When you were not directly in her territory, because she didn't have the chops. And for anyone who doesn't have the chops to be in leadership, take ownership, please. Get it together. Get a leadership coach. Learn, grow, focus on abundance. Learn how to increase your skill set. Learn how to actually be a strong communicator. Learn how to give positive feedback or negative feedback in an abundant way that isn't biting and abusive and falls under verbal abuse. If you are an imposter leader and you're listening to this, you know you are. You feel it in your gut right now as I'm talking. Reach out to me. I will help you. I will help you. I help people who mostly are targets, but if you are a bully, I will help you. I will help you turn the corner. And if I can do that with as many people as possible, I will make that my crowning achievement. We need more strong leaders, and we need to eradicate this idea that anyone who's showing promise and goodness and has a skill set and competencies and character and strong communication skills like you probably have, Ron, you're not a threat. You're actually an incredible opportunity for an organization. And if you have leaders willing to stomp you down, you're not in the right spot. Get away from these people. They will ruin you.
So looking at the actual different types of bullying, then we've talked a little bit about each one. The experience your client had in the medical profession and what they said was pretty crazy. But there is often a power struggle associated with the bullying aspect. So would you say that, like, when it's top down, that person who is being the bully is trying to exert their power over their underlings? When it's peer-based, then it's a struggle to get higher up to the top. And when it's upward bullying, that they're trying to drag you down to their level and almost do the old switcheroo.
You're nailing it, Cosmo. Mike, for everyone listening, I don't know if it's clear. Cosmo is my nephew, and he is just turned 18 years old, and he probably knows more about bullying than some of these he does know more about the bullying than imposter leaders, and you're nailing it, Cosmo.
Take that, imposter leaders.
There you go. They're undermining you so that they can take the power and they strip it away from you. And I'll share with you, listeners, I've experienced all three of them. Downward, peer, and upward. That's the kicker, is downward bullying was obvious. I could see why it was happening. Peer, I could see why it was obvious. The most confusing was upward. I consider myself a strong leader, not perfect. There's no perfect leader, doesn't exist. But I do consider myself a strong leader. And the folks who were reporting to me, who they created a mob, they have a unique way of finding a path to gain favor with the skip leader so that they completely undermine me. And it was about not being accountable. So I was holding them accountable to a certain set of standards and expectations that aligned with their job role and their job description. And that's all it took. That was their threat. Accountability. People who are not accountable, what do you think you're doing at work? You're going to be accountable. And people who are allergic to accountability, we're dealing with toddlers in adult bodies, because it doesn't matter what job you have. You're accountable for your results. You're accountable for work product. They simply could not handle accountability. They also couldn't handle the fact that I got the job instead of someone internal. So there's all these dynamics at play. Suffice it to say, there's a reason those statistics are 55 and 29%, because that's the most common and probably would resonate with most people. Upward bullying is a very odd dynamic, very strange, and it feels weird because it feels like it's just insubordination, but it goes deeper than that. So there's obviously nuances to all three categories, but here's what I want to tell you. We are not shrinking because of bullies. Ron and anyone else who is experiencing downward bullying, peer-to-peer, upward, we do not shrink for bullies. You keep shining, and if you are being bullied, we have to find a path to get you to the right spot, because they are relentless and they will not stop. Okay. One thing we are not going to do, we are not going to shrink ourselves.
Boom. The mic drop. There it is. You didn't actually drop the mic, otherwise that would have made it into the audio. But if you want to continue to support Lauri's work, then the best way to do that is just subscribe to Bully Proof Truth in Action, the WBP Substack account. If you sign up for a paid membership, then you get a special treat, which is a brand new WBP Basics delivered to your email every Thursday. What are we going to be talking about this Thursday, Lauri?
This Thursday, we're going to talk about work allies and some of the dangers and potential landmines with work allies.
And that's going to be our 6th basics. So if you sign up now, you have access to all previous 5 and all upcoming new ones. But until then, thank you for defining the different areas of bullying and what that looks like in the professional dynamics.
Thanks, Cosmo.
Or unprofessional dynamics.
There you go. Thanks, Cosmo, and appreciate the question from Ron. And thanks to everyone for their support. Please subscribe to this channel, like it, and share it with friends and family. This is the best way you can support WBP as well as just workplace bullying in general, is we have to spread awareness, as is obvious from that person in HR and the medical organization saying that bullying is only related to a power imbalance and it's only downward. We have work to do, folks.
All right, we'll catch you on the flippity flip, everyone.
Thanks, Cosmo. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to Work It Out with Lauri. If today's episode hit home at all, please share it with someone who needs it. And please remember, you deserve to work in peace. Oh, and hey, if you're listening and you're currently a target of a workplace bully and you need help, please feel free to schedule an initial consult with me. It's completely free and completely confidential. I've got your back.
And remember to follow this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Substack. Plus, send us your story or your question at workplacebullyingproject.com.
We'll see you next time, and we'll work it out together.